Hey, welcome back to the channel. As I'm growing this channel, I'm working my way through 50 technical sprints to try to grow my skills in animation and to learn the animation software. But this week I took a break from that and I tried to build a practical asset that I could use on a regular basis. Basically looking at a lot of videos, I got tired of seeing boring and generic subscribe buttons like these. So this week, Jerry and I decided that we were going to build our own subscribe button. Let's take a look. The first thing I did was created layers for the body, the head, the button, and a grouping layer to control everything together. Here I'm just creating the shape for the button. I was trying to keep a hand-drawn look to it, so just kind of roughed it out and then just tweaked the points a little bit. Here I'm just adding in the text. The observant will realize probably faster than I did that I misspelled the word. Now I'm just adding in Jerry, adding his head and his body to their various layers and making some minor adjustments, tweaking them so I'm a little happier. Yeah, here I was clearly having some issues with my scroll wheel. It took me a second to get the screen centered back again. I'm just trying to decide how to set up the child-parent relationship between the objects so that they can move together. And this is when I realized that I had spelled subscribe wrong, so I'm trying to adjust it, make space to get the R in. So as I was looking at this, I realized that I did not like the lowercase words, so I worked on basically redoing it in uppercase. And I was just trying to get the letter spacing and the sizes of the letters correct. Clearly I'm going a little bit too big, but I decided just go ahead and just draw it all out. Then I could reshape character by character and get everything sized properly so that I could put it back into the button. And just grabbing the new subscribe, the uppercase, and swapping it, moving the lowercase out of the way. I decided I wanted to separate the body from the controller so that I could have a different control on the object. It was just getting final placement on everything, getting it in position where I wanted it before I actually started animating, also making the text just a little bit bolder here before I got going. So I missed recording a little chunk here, but what happened is when I was trying to do my squash and stretch, I was moving the objects and clearly broke them. So the solution I came up with to fix this problem was to have a different state for the squash, the stretch, and the standard form for each the head and the body. So as I was animating, I could just swap out layers and everything then should work out properly. Once I got the three different states of the head and the body, the squash, the stretch, and the standard form, I moved on to actually doing the animation. It was kind of in combination of getting the body and the head in position where they were supposed to be, along with now fixing the rotation and also the squash and the stretch positions. I did this for the next several minutes, which what you're going to see here. So the actual animation for the button that I wanted was Jerry pushing the subscribe button out. That's why I was trying to get basically the shape of him leaning into the subscribe button and get the feeling of weight behind the button. I wanted it to be kind of heavy. So I was trying to orient Jerry so that he could get some traction and shove the button. Once I had that shove going on, then the next step was for Jerry to jump on top of the button. So I had to work out him anticipation of him squatting down and jumping up to get on top of the button. I spent a little time trying to get the stretch on him, so once he jumped and you get that speed of him getting up in the air, and then working out the arc, him smoothly or going up. I didn't want just a straight line. So you can see me working that out here and then trying to get him to twist a little bit right when he landed. Coming from jumping from the ground up on top of the button, I didn't want him to just land and stop, so it was kind of a little hop. The idea is kind of a momentum carrying him forward a little bit. So it's kind of a little squash, but it pop up in the air and then trying to get his footing again. Once he did his little hop there at the end, you can see where I had to get his head put back on his body. Then worked on another anticipation, him squatting down again to jump, so he could actually do the hop on the button itself, the click part of it. Once I got his position right, then he did the actual jump. Wanted to show him getting some good height and some speed, so see where I stretched him out. So we jumped up into the air. When he got to the top of the jump, he kind of went back into a normal position, then came back down. You can see the stretch again, and then a squat as he goes down into the button again. I don't know what I did here, but when I was trying to get the squash part, I accidentally deleted the standard part of his body set and had to back up a couple steps and copy and paste it back into the set. Once I got Jerry all back together again, I turned on onion skinning and kind of went through the entire motion of everything, and just started doing minor tweaks, getting the positioning done. I wanted to get the timing worked out right, so it just looked a little more natural. So for the button click itself, instead of doing a good squash on it like I did with Jerry, I wanted it to be more rigid, so I opted to just scale it straight down, so from a taller state to a slightly smaller state, and then I saved that out. So when he actually jumped, it would just kind of bounce or go down and back up. Once I got the click set, then I needed to make sure that Jerry's positioning when he was coming down from his jump was pushing the button down, and as the button was coming up, he was coming up with it, and they didn't cross over each other. It needed to look like he was flowing with the button. At that point, it was just doing some last minute checks and making sure everything looked normal. So this turned out to be a little 2-second animation. I put it into DaVinci Resolve. I stretched it out, I looped it a little bit, added sound effects, and the result can be seen down here. So if you enjoyed what you saw and you would like to see me move my way through the technical sprint, let's follow Jerry's example and hop on that subscribe button. We'll see you next week.